Hey guys, Solomon here. Hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I thought that we can compare two animal openings that are surprisingly similar, however much different at the same time, right? We have the hippopotamus defense, we have the crab opening. What are the similarities? What are the differences? And at the end of the day, which one is better? Let's take a look. Here we have a hippopotamus defense middle game, right? This is what the hippo player wants, right? 10 moves in. We got our knights tucked in the center. We got both of our bishops fianchettoed. We got 6 of our pawns on the third rank. I mean, this is a great brick wall, right? Notice that every single square on the fourth rank is covered by at least one of our pawns, if not both. It's going to be hard for black to break through. And actually, the harder they push, the more counterattacking chances we often get, right? It's kind of one of those things. You push super hard, you keep pushing, eventually cracks in the wall are going to start to form. I'm a big believer in the hippo. If you're interested in learning more about the hippo, I have a ton of different resources. First off, I have a course that's 6 hours long. You can check it out in the description below. On top of that, before checking out the course, you may just want to check out the rest of the videos on my channel. We're nearing 40 videos on the hippo now. I reached the candidate master title with it, and now I'm trying to reach the national master title with the hippo. So I'm a big believer in it. I'm playing it myself, and it's really getting me some great results against good competition. So that's the hippo, right? This is the position that we want. What about the crab opening? What's the difference, right? Well, in the crab opening, we have this position. What's the difference? Hippo, crab. The only difference is that instead of our sideline pawns being up 1 square, they're up 2, right? And this may not seem like a big difference, but it definitely is, right? And in fact, I don't recommend the crab opening in long-term time controls at all. However, in bullet, the crab can be very dangerous, right? But we'll get into the crab in a second. Let's just kind of look at the hippo and really focus in on the sideline pawns, right? Why are we putting these pawns here? This is really the difference between the hippo and the crab, at least once the middle game is reached. There's really 2 main reasons that we play these moves, right? And I guess a third reason that kind of subsets the first 2. Firstly, we don't want to deal with some kind of bishop a3, right? So if we put a pawn on a3, our rook also defends it. So bishop a3 here just loses a piece, right? That's the first thing. But really the 2 main reasons, once these pawns are here, the 2 benefits that we have are, first off, we guard b4 and g4, right? None of black's pieces can come in here. They just can't, right? They just can't unless they want to lose it, right? The second reason is that we can very easily expand on either side of the board. This is actually my go-to when I play the hippo, right? I try to expand on one side of the board or the other. Very easy way to improve the position, get those pieces flowing. If black plays a move here like rook f8, we can play b4, just expanding, right? Expanding on the side of the board. b5 ideas are probably not going to happen soon, but they could happen eventually, and it's always in our back pocket, right? Let's say black just doesn't like that and they play something like a6. Oftentimes we tuck a knight behind. In this case, I think this move of c4 is actually pretty good. And yeah, we're just putting a ton of pressure on d5, threatening to win a pawn, threatening to trap this bishop as well. And the whole reason that c4 is so strong is because we had a3 supporting b4, supporting c5, right? We're wiping out half of the 5th rank, and it's all thanks to this pawn helping this pawn chain form, right? And okay, I mean, these pawns are really the building blocks, right, for expansion on the king side or the queen side, right, going back. So we both kind of guard those spots, right, from pieces, and we're also building upon those spots by using those sideline pawns. Let's now look at the crab opening. What's the difference? Well, first off, I mean, these squares they're simply weaknesses, glaring weaknesses. If you're playing someone good, especially in a longer time format, I mean, they could play something like bishop g4, right? And that's annoying, right? I mean, of course, we can always trade off or something, but they can just kind of throw a piece in there. They could throw a knight in here. And notice, if we try to play c3 or f3, trying to kick them out, we're weakening our pawn structure as well. Anytime you move a pawn in chess, you are permanently weakening squares. And that doesn't mean you shouldn't move pawns. I mean, if you didn't move pawns, you could never get your queen or your bishops out, right? So you want to move pawns, but you just want to be mindful of your weaknesses and not forming weaknesses that the opponent can take advantage of. If we play, f3 against bishop g4, g3 and e3 are going to be permanently weak. Against knight b4, c3 doesn't even work, right? Knight takes d3 or check, the bishop falls. If black even takes the bishop, the knight could get trapped there potentially, but they probably would, bail out on a4. So all that to say, these are glaring weaknesses. And on top of that, we can't build on either side, right? We can't build on either side with a3, b4 or h3, g4. There's another reason that these pawn moves are so important, and that's because it also kind of kind of frees up our flank pawns in the hippo, right? Going back to that hippo position, we're able to play a move like c4 here without ever having to worry about knight b4 happening, right? Sometimes you can see it in the hippo where, I mean, let's just say, for example, right? Let's say black just makes a move here. Let's say we castle kingside, okay, rook there. Let's say we play f4, right? So obviously here, f4 is not a great move for a number of reasons. I mean, black here could just take and open up this entire file. But let's just pretend this pawn wasn't here. Let's just pretend it wasn't here. Black could play this and attack that pawn, right? That's not fun, right? And we actually can't defend it very well. I mean, the king can't defend it. The rook could defend it. And I know you guys are probably saying, wait, why don't we just take the knight? Well, that's the whole point, right? We're trying to play h3 and a3 to prevent moves like this. If this pawn's here and this happens, I mean, you know, the rook has to guard. Black plays that, attacking the rook. If we try to exchange off, the rook's attacked. If we go back to our first spot, we get forked. I mean, this is just ugly, right? There's no way around it. Same goes for the other side of the board in specific scenarios, right? So going back to the crab opening, right, after knight d2, it's going to be harder for us, right? It's going to be hard for us to castle kingside and play a move like f4 because black can just kind of throw their knight in, right? And we're going to be in some trouble. What are the good things about the crab opening, right, as opposed to the hippo? Well, I would say that the good things are that, you know, kind of at the start of the game, usually with the crab, we play h4 and a4 right away. The whole idea is to give the opponent the center while we gain space on the queen side and the king side. And especially in bullet chess and maybe in faster blitz as well, I think the crab can be fun because really quickly you can play h5, h6, blow the king side up, right? a5, a6, blow the king side up. Even pre-move it here, right? 1, 2, boom, right? And just take that pawn and just start going crazy. You know, that's really one of probably the biggest advantages I can think of in the crab. I mean, usually in chess we have our pawns back here, and you know, maybe we play h4 at some point, right? Maybe we're trying to make space. Black kind of matches it, but if black doesn't match it from the beginning, we can kind of play these moves whenever we want, right? And threaten to get moves like that in. I would say another thing about the crab that's kind of cool is that these bishop moves are very easy even earlier on in the game, right? If you find a time that you can trade off, or maybe even attack a queen or a rook, maybe even pin a queen to a rook. That's happened to me when I play the crab. You know, we're playing and then, you know, pieces start falling off, play bishop h3, win the exchange, right? So that's an advantage. But I don't think that it outweighs the, you know, really the advantages that the hippo has, right? Because with the hippo, with those pawns back one square, we're free to play 4 different pawn moves that we simply can't in the crab, right? So, you know, b4, c4, f4, and g4, these are all very important moves in the hippo. By committing to the crab, they're simply not going to be very available, right? But okay, I mean, let's go back to the start of the game. Traditionally in the crab, just to let y'all know, you know, white will play a4 and then h4 or the other way around. I'm not even sure which one's the official move order. I don't think there is one. But here we go, right? We're playing like a crab, making space on both sides, you know, ready to attack either way. And yeah, I mean, from here, we're just going to try to develop. I will say, though, there is some value in actually just kind of playing it like a hippo at the start and then playing those kind of crab opening moves at the end. Shout out to my boy Tommy for finding that, by the way. Yeah, worked with him at a summer Christian camp, and you know, I kind of taught him the crab, and then he was going, you know what? I feel like playing these moves so early kind of makes my development a little bit harder, right? Something along those lines, and he's exactly right. Because if you commit to these moves early, both of these squares are already weak, right? Even now, you know, next move, if black plays bishop g4, we can't play f3. That's terrible. We're opening up our short side check to our king. So, you know, black could just plant a bishop there, and it's going to be hard for us to pull the crab off, at least in a good way. And, you know, if black just keeps developing here, let's say we play g3. You know, oftentimes, especially in bullet, black will just keep developing. In that case, okay, we'll get the crab and we're fine. But what happens about a move like bishop g4, right? This is when it can get a little bit tricky, a little bit dicey trying to figure out what to do. Again, I don't recommend a move like f3, hardly ever. It's just really weakening. Even here, black could play e4, right? Just e4, making this weak. We're going to have to play a move like king f2, very ugly. Notice if we take, by the way, guys, we just lose on the spot, right? So, yeah, all that to say, g3, you know, in this scenario, if black drops a bishop there,
You know, there's some better moves that we can play. I know the computer recommends moves like knight f3, trying to bring that knight to h2, attacking the bishop. Bishop h3 is also a move that we could play here. This is probably what I'd play in the crab. You know, just offering up a trade there and just playing kind of a funky crab position. But I will say the crab is very fun, especially in faster time controls. And the hippo is too. I'm not saying that the crab is better than the hippo. I kind of think that the hippo is better all around. But the crab does have some very fun possibilities. You know, very quick h5, h6, blow the king's head up, play attacking chess from there. So, yeah, at the end of the day, it's very interesting. The you know, I would say that the hippopotamus defense is better in the middle game because of the pawns. And I would also say that the hippopotamus defense, you know, kind of saves us some trouble in terms of development, right? Because as I just mentioned, a move like bishop g4 can be very annoying, right? Now, if we're playing the hippo, we're either going to have a pawn on h3 already, so that's not even possible. Or if we see that, we can just play h3, right? And kick that bishop around. If they go back, you know, at a certain point, we can always play g4. But, you know, when you commit so early to h4, this is an issue, right? So just like my boy Tommy said, shout out Tommy again, you might just want to kind of play it like a hippo and then go into the crab later. Or maybe you just want to play the hippo. That's probably what I'd recommend. But, and again, if you want to play the crab and play these first two moves at the start, which I've done, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, you just kind of develop and you know, get those central pawns in, tuck the knights, and you're good. And keep in mind too, at some point, you know, if you want to play bishop h3 or bishop a3 really quickly, maybe take off a piece, maybe pre-move it, try to snatch off a piece early on in the game. There's nothing stopping you. Hey guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I wanted to give a big shout out to my Patreon supporters for the month of April in 2023. Love you guys, and it's been awesome to have you guys as part of the Patreon community. If you haven't joined the Patreon yet, there are some exclusive benefits that you gain from becoming a member. And if you're interested, I will leave a link in the description below.